Thank you for finding time specifically at this late hour or early hour, depending on where you are joining in for this humble webinar. My name is Mike. I'm a CEO and founder at Brand24, and I'm really thankful for you guys finding time for this webinar. It's pretty stressful to talk live to 600, 700, 800 people live. So my mate said that the best tactic is to imagine your audience naked. That's pretty much the go-to a trick on how not to stress. But considering there's pretty much 800 people on the live, then statistically some of you must be in the toilet, probably somewhat naked. So that's statistically pretty much a definity. So let me just check if we can, if my video is still visible. Yep. Let me check if the screen sharing is visible. Should be good. All right. So today I'll be talking about tips and tricks from our past 2 years of combining experiences in LLMs SEO or GEO. There's a lot of names for this new exciting part of the SEO. So I'll be sharing all the tricks that we've combined, all the tricks that we've tested, all the mistakes that we've made. So hopefully they'll help you to boost your exposure on LLMs such as ChatGPT, Gemini, and others. So obviously we are witnessing the biggest revolution in tech since probably mobile, probably even the biggest tech revolution ever. The ChatGPT, as other AI models, are booming. You can see this in pretty much all the stats. This was the first product to get to 100 million users within 3 months. But even more interestingly for us, there's more and more predictions that AI search will surpass search engine traffic by 2028, which is not too far away from today. And we can see this AI boom, AI search boom happening. We can see more and more features are being included in AI search, such as shopping. The ChatGPT was one of the first to introduce this. Google recently announced shopping modules within AI. So AI search will be eating up more and more of the traditional search, if you will. Obviously, Google has a big role to play here, but it's they are competing with ChatGPT and other models, which are still gaining traffic and gaining more piece of the pie. Obviously, Google is not just taking shots. They are trying to compete within this AI market with amazing new models. The Gemini, which they recently released, is probably the best model out there today. So yeah, but also they are competing in terms of the tradition. They are trying to adjust traditional search to AI with introduction of AI overviews, which most of marketers hate. And why do we hate AI overviews? Because they mostly take away organic traffic of ours, because they pretty much push all the content, all the ads, all the pretty much organic results. They push them down, and this results in less and less traffic that is flowing to sites. And we've experienced this over past several months. You can see this is our Google Search Console. We've been pretty much growing steadily in terms of impressions. So the violet chart here, growing in terms of impressions. We are getting better in terms of a traditional SEO, but the same number of impressions, or even growing number of impressions, is getting us less and less clicks, which is painful. So our typical reaction to this is boosting budgets in terms of Google Ads. And we see more and more competition across Google Ads. We see more and more competition across spending within Google Ads. So customer acquisition costs for ads is unfortunately booming. So we started to look for ways we can pretty much replace the organic traffic, the organic traffic that we've lost over past months with other types of traffic. And this is how ChatGPT and other AI models are, pretty much coming into our marketing picture. So AI overviews are pretty much taking clicks mostly from top 3 results, but we can see that we can see a drop in conversion to clicks for pretty much all the positions visible here, and it's gonna get worse. So AI overviews are visible for they are getting close to being visible for most of the results, most of the queries. So they will be expanded to more and more queries, which will result in less and less clicks, which will be obviously painful. This is the time of risks and opportunities. So a lot of risks specifically in terms of organic clicks, but there's also a lot of opportunities in terms of what you can gain from new marketing channels such as AI models. And this is a rise of GEO. Some people call it AI visibility, some call it SEO for LLMs. It's not like our industry needs a bunch of new acronyms, but we'll see which one sticks. But they are all talking about the same, which is getting your brand exposed within AI models. And we've been pretty successful at getting traffic from AI models. So Brand24 is getting more and more traction from ChatGPT, or from Perplexity, and most importantly, it's a very, very good quality traffic. So you can see here our data warehouse where we can see our traffic, and we can see the past 30 days of our traffic. And you can see that ChatGPT is not huge in terms of volume, but it's pretty huge in terms of trial conversion rate. So it's very, very good quality traffic, and it's 4 times better in terms of sales conversion. So it's much better than our average. It's close to 3 times better than Google traffic, and overall qualified trials are converting very, very well. So this is a pretty good tip. Also, you can see Perplexity here. So this is probably another tip that I can share with you guys. Perplexity is about to start Perplexity Ads, a platform which will allow you to place ads within Perplexity. So I believe this will be a big opportunity once it's operational. Oftentimes in marketing, it's like that if you are early to the party, you can leverage the new existing new platforms in a big way, because the clicks are way cheaper than further down the line when there's more and more brands that want to market their products. And for many parts of this webinar, I'll be talking about obviously GEO and praising on this new channel of customer acquisition. But first and foremost, Google is a big part of GEO, and SEO is also a big part of GEO. So there's a lot of Twitter posts or X posts that SEO is dead. This is such a bullshit. It's SEO has never been more important than now. It's how important it is. It's booming these days, and I believe that business for most of SEO agencies, SEO consultants, will be booming also thanks to this new exciting channels, which will be growing over time. So obviously, the first and foremost for one of the best practices that we've started with when optimizing for LLM models was to open our site to AI crawlers. So our public data is available for them. So it's pretty basic the thing, but it helps to build your exposure. Even if your organic traffic is getting down, you can boost your exposure, and by just allowing AI crawlers to dig through your site. And it's super simple. There's a huge documentation, or like very easy to understand documentation on OpenAI's website or other platforms' website. So no huge tricks here, but you can take an extra step while opening your site to LLMs, and you can implement some additional tactics. One of those tactics that has been highly discussed all over the web is LLMs.txt file. It has a lot of supporters, a lot of critics. From our perspective, we are somewhere in the middle. We see that it affects some of the AI models or some of the AI tools like Perplexity. We can see that the data or specific parts of the specific features that we decided to include in our LLMs.txt file got picked up by Perplexity. So we can see that this is a way to affect AI models, similar or likewise with Claude AI. It doesn't seem to affect ChatGPT in a huge way. So I would be somewhere in the middle in the discussion if it's valid way to optimize your visibility within AI models. Again, a lot of critics, a lot of supporters for this file. I would imagine that the biggest win that you guys can take away from this webinar is this single click that I'm here to recommend for you guys. So if you have a YouTube channel, if your company, if your brand has a YouTube channel, you can allow AI models to train new models on the transcripts from your videos, and that has immense potential for boosting your visibility within AI models. So we did that for our own AI channels. We post a lot of videos related to social listening, which is our niche for Brand24, and we see that it really affected our AI visibility. So you can see here how on average we rank within AI models, how often they recommend Brand24, and our average position went from around 10 to 12 to around a 7th position once we switched this feature within YouTube. And it's funny, as you can see that if you clicked on the selected third-party companies only, you can choose which models you want to share your data with. You can choose OpenAI, you can choose Anthropic, some other models as well, which is crazy for me, because I would imagine that Google would be never sharing this sort of data with other vendors, with other competitors in AI space. But for some reason, there's must be some major deal among those companies, but for some reason they do share this data, and we can see it affects the exposure, and as a result it affects also traffic and clicks that we are seeing coming to us through regular analytics. And what is super important here is that when we look at the stats within our Google Analytics or HEAP Analytics or any analytics tool that we use to track the traffic on our website, it's the traffic from ChatGPT or Perplexity is only a fraction of recommendations that are actually happening and coming to our product or our brand, because most of the recommendations from our AI are in the zero-click model. So it's not really visible as referrals within Google Analytics. So again, YouTube click, by default, it's turned off. So you have to manually turn it on to make it work. But again, I believe that this is probably the biggest ROI that you will get from any click ever, or definitely this year. So there's more ways you can open yourself up to AI models. So for example, you can see here in data controls for your ChatGPT account, you can turn on the improve the model for everyone a feature. This will result in most of your conversations being used to train new models. And this doesn't mean that you researching your new antibiotics for your chlamydia will help will get out there, and they will be able to pinpoint your health issues with you. It's not like that, but you can use this as a way to maybe set up an environment for your content team or for your marketing team. So for example, your marketing team or your customer support team can have this feature on, and then all the conversations that they have when working on the new content, when they working on the copywriting for the new campaign or email marketing, all the conversations will be used by ChatGPT to train models, and also to learn about your company, to learn about your brand and your business. So it really affects, specifically if you're operating within a niche, if you have a really niche product that, if you ask ChatGPT about your own company and you see hallucinations, that's the best news, because that means that ChatGPT didn't really have too much to do with your industry. And doesn't have too much information about your industry. So there's a huge gap that you can fill to boost your exposure. So that's another step to open yourself up to AI models. And I know that opening yourself up to AI models is controversial as it is, because most of the companies have data administrators which are not super pumped about opening yourself with the data to ChatGPT or other AI models. But again, it's not about sharing some secret information, some proprietary data, some patents. It's all about trying to pretty much share the information that's already public this way. Again, also there's another step you can do to index or to pretty much trigger crawlers from ChatGPT. And the simplest way to do that is just by asking it, specifically using words like please and thank you, because our AI overlords a couple of years from now will take over, and they will remember who used words please and thank you. So if they ever see this webinar, as it will be visible as video, my name is Mike. I was always pro AI, so you can see I'm running this webinar. So please spare me, potentially my family too. So that would be great. Anyway, you can trigger crawlers from OpenAI. You can trigger crawlers for pretty much all the tools available out there, all the AI models available out there, and you can just simply ask them to index information from your blog, from your website. If you release some new product, new features, you can index the new information. We do that on the monthly basis. We ask it to pretty much index all the new blog posts from, let's say, October 2025, to make sure that all the recent data is available. So in this way, you do not count on some crawlers to visit your website naturally. In a way, you do not count on stuff like LLMs.txt. You trigger crawling yourself. Another step of opening yourself up to ChatGPT and other models is to create your own GPT within their marketplace. So this is a tactic that it takes 15 minutes to set up your own ChatGPT. We did that for Brand24. We've uploaded all the product information about our company, or all the blog posts, and we've managed to get our own GPT version that's additionally trained on information about our product, about our company. This is a great way to boost your customer success efforts, but it's also a great way to provide all the information about your company on the silver platter to ChatGPT or other models. And there are companies who are super successful based on this tactic. The prime example is Canva, who has already 22 million conversations within their own GPT. So it certainly works. And you can see that their AI traffic, so the traffic that they're getting from ChatGPT, Gemini, etc., is booming in big part thanks to this custom GPT that they've made. So this is pretty cool tactic. And on top of the list of opening yourself up to AI models is MCP, which is let's say a pro tactic because it typically involves developers. It's all about opening your database to ChatGPT for integration in a way. So we can imagine the future within 3 to 5 years. Most of people will expect to have the data from the tools that they buy, tools like Heap Analytics, Hotjar, SEMrush, Brand24, Chatbeat, whatever tools we use, whatever service we use, we'll expect that the data from this tool is available within my preferred AI model. So I can work with the data, so I can analyze this, maybe cross-reference data from Brand24 with data from SEMrush, or use this in any other way. I wouldn't like to log into my telecom company. I wouldn't log into my T-Mobile account to collect my latest invoice so I can send it to my accountant. I will expect my AI or model, whether it's going to be ChatGPT or Claude, I will expect it to pull this through integration from my T-Mobile account and send it to my accountant. And this will be similar with all the AI tools. And I expect that within the 5 years, less and less traffic will be happening through dashboards. People just won't. They will have no need to learn dashboards for new tools. They will expect it to all the data to be pulled to their let's say model of choice. All right, so that's opening yourself up to models. The next step is tracking the exposure within AI models themselves, and there's number of tools that allow you to do that. Some of the oldest tools that allow you to do that are Profound, the tools from US, Surfer SEO, so a Polish company that does this really well. SEMrush, Ahrefs, they all have AI models that allow you to track your brand visibility within AI models. And we also have our own tool at Brand24 that we've created for ourselves. But after some time, we decided to share this with all this. And I know, learning yet another tool is painful, but most of the tools that track brand visibility across AI work in a similar way to traditional SEO tools, where in SEO tools, we track keywords and we track positions of our domain for specific keywords. With AI visibility tools, we track key prompts, or actually prompts clusters. So all the variations, all the minor variations of specific prompts, and how well the brand ranks within the answer. So if we go inside of one of those answers here, we can see that Chatbeat collected over every day. It collects some answers for this particular prompt, and we can see raw answer that it got from Copilot, from ChatGPT, from Claude, from DeepSeek, a number of other AI models. And if Disney is visible on the second position here, then it's we tag it as a second spot, just like we would tag second spot within Google organic results within the SEO tools. So this is how it works. We track those prompts. We track dozens of prompts or hundreds of prompts for specific brands, and we track their positions within each model. And this is how we can pretty much estimate the exposure and track whether brand is booming or decreasing in visibility within AI models. So most of the tools work like that, and they correlate really well with actual traffic that we see within Google Analytics. So if you see a boost of visibility within tools like Chatbeat, you will also see boost in visibility in just Google Analytics traffic that you see coming from ChatGPT or from other models. So it's a very, very cool way to track what historically was difficult to track, because again, most of the recommendations from AI models are untrackable, or they're used to be untrackable because they are not clicks, they are not referrals, they are just mentions in a text that will result in boosting brand awareness, or people just will be typing, the name of your company into Google, or they will be typing the name of your domain. So you will see this as a direct or Google, let's say, brand traffic. And you can measure the share of voice and compare this next to your competitors within each popular model. There's currently 8 or 9 models that are supported like this. One of the key differences between SEO and GEO is mentions are way, way more important than they used to be back in the SEO day. Again, we are in the SEO day, as SEO is not going anywhere, but brand mentions are correlating big time with the position of a specific brand within ChatGPT. So we can see that in the very, very simple terms, the more brand mentions you get, specifically from high quality sources, the bigger exposure your brand gets within AI models. And this opens us to many, many tactics that we can use to boost our engagement and boost our visibility within AI models. One of the major announcements last year was OpenAI, partnering with Reddit, and you can see that Reddit data is vital to training new AI models, and this is why you see more and more brands are taking to Reddit to boost their customer engagement on Reddit, boost number of mentions on Reddit, really engage the discussion more. So there's more and more conversations related to Mint Mobile or T-Mobile or any other company on Reddit, as they affect AI visibility big time. So you can see we do that for a number of months already, and we've been pretty successful with this type of engagement on Reddit. There's even I only learned about this last week, and we are yet to test it. But I only learned that you can buy existing Reddit accounts with high karma because it's hard to get exposure on Reddit, because some of the subreddits they just delete your post whenever you mention a brand, even if it's very organic, even if you are not promoting your company in any way, but only saying, "Hey, Mike from Brand24 here," and then trying to solve someone's problem, marketing related problem, or some other issue. You are still likely to get deleted. So and it's all about getting a lot of karma within Reddit. So there's let's say a second market of Reddit accounts that you can use to maybe get accounts that will be less likely to be deleted. What's really curious is that the importance of specific sources changes over time. So I mentioned that Reddit is huge ever since the deal with OpenAI, and it is, but over last few months, it also decreased a bit in terms of, or really significantly in terms of the exposure that it gets. And so you can see here that Reddit, by the time of the summer holiday, the Reddit was booming in terms of the number of citations within AI models. And right now in September, it fell. It's still super important source, but it's not dominating results like it was back during the summer holiday. So it's important to track changes in sources because this is how you can invest your time in sources that are most likely to affect AI models here and now. So what we also learned is that recommendations are much better than simple mention. So it's not only about getting mentioned, it's about getting featured, getting recommended. So if there's a blog post that mentions Brand24 across number of 30 social listening tools, that will help us in AI visibility, but it will not boost our AI visibility in a huge way, specifically not as a, let's say, top 10 social listening tools post that will have Brand24 as a number one. This will affect AI results much more likely. So it's not only about getting mentions on high quality sources. It's also about getting recommendations, getting organic recommendations by just having great experience for your users, for your customers, and maybe asking them to share this experience across other platforms. So again, negative mentions like here for Boeing or positive mentions like here for 11 Labs, they do affect LLMs big time. Specifically with X, they affect Grok. They don't affect ChatGPT that much, as there's a pretty much like a war between Grok and OpenAI, between Elon Musk and Sam Altman. But yeah, there's a number of other sources that are important. Quora is one of those sources that is highly cited by pretty much most of LLMs out there. This is why we also invest some time into Quora marketing. LinkedIn is super important. Specifically, Pulse articles are what's really important to some of the users. This is why we are doing redistribution of existing content to some of the to LinkedIn posts, to Pulse posts. This way we can pretty much use our existing content to gather extra traction and exposure within LinkedIn. Another source like that that's hugely important is YouTube. YouTube was pretty much crawled by OpenAI, not with Google's permission, as far as I know. So they've pretty much crawled all the videos even before this feature that I mentioned was available. And when I'm saying all videos, I mean really all videos, even the man on crutches, wax, penis, cane, ding, ding, ding video was probably used to train models, which is pretty scary. As when I was preparing myself for this keynote, and when somebody entered the room and I was having this video open on my screen, I quickly changed to porn because it was much easier to explain than this crazy video. So YouTube is of huge importance to marketing sector. We see that in marketing industry, YouTube is by far, specifically within AI overviews, Gemini, it's by far most cited source. This is why we invest heavily into YouTube, not only our own channel, but we also boosted our budget for partnerships with YouTubers. And what's great here is that you don't have to work with YouTuber that will get you 50,000 views. Even if it's 300 views, it will likely also affect AI visibility in a big way. So that's another cool trick that you can do. There are platforms like Capsules where you can pretty much in a very scalable way get additional features on YouTube with not a huge price. And you can see that for our industry, for tracking Brand24 within this tool, we can see that key sources, among key sources, we can see number of YouTube results. And that's what's really cool about this AI visibility tracking tools like Chatbeat, that you can pretty much find which precise videos are affecting LLMs the most. So you can see which video is affecting ChatGPT within your industry. You can see which video is affecting, Gemini or AI overviews, or maybe some other models. So which sources, which results to use to influence the results. And you can see that the differences between various AI models are huge. Top sources for consumer electronics between ChatGPT and Google AI mode. Reddit is one of the sources that's on both sides, but otherwise there's a big difference in what are the most cited sources for both of those models. Similar for digital technology software, similar for finance. You can see there are huge differences here. And by far, Reddit is still one of the most cited sources, similar to Wikipedia, similar to YouTube that I mentioned. But for your specific niche, for your specific industry, LinkedIn, YouTube, Reddit will not be as important as your niche sources that you have to be aware of. So again, there are two main categories of sources that are influencing LLMs, that are influencing what you see as a response from LLM when you're asking about, when your customer is looking for a product like you offer. One source of information is the information that was used to train the model in the first place. So to train, GPT-4, GPT-5, and so on. Another category is a source that will be used on the fly, that will be picked up in real time when you ask the question, when customer asks the question, to support the existing knowledge. So typically, ChatGPT will be using Bing, or oftentimes even Google, which is crazy, to pick additional results and to supplement the answer with additional information that they find on the web. And this has a huge importance, because those links, the second category of sources, is the type of sources that you can influence, and this is the quickest way to affect your position within AI models. And again, the AI visibility tools, they all have this source feature. So you can use this to find specific sources cited by the LLMs within your niche. And you can see here, most cited sources by Disney. I pulled this for Disney. You can see that ChatGPT has over last pretty much a couple of months, they've pulled 31,000 external sources to supplement the answers within the industry that Disney Plus is operating in. And it's hard to find Reddit here. There's no Reddit here. There's Wikipedia, certainly. There's YouTube. But you can see that the top source is CNET. Another top source is Consumer Reports. So even though Reddit, LinkedIn, YouTube are really great ideas in general, for your specific industry, there'll be niche sources that are vital for your specific industry. So you have to be aware of this sources. So again, with tools like this, you can browse the list of the sources. You can use them to learn what are the types of content that are preferred. You can also see trends within those sources. So, as I shown you with Reddit used to be huge during the summer holiday, but not so much over September. So you can see trends, which sources are currently affecting your results. You can see whether your own domain got into top results within specific AI models. So, analyzing citation trends is a huge tactic to realize what sources are key for your industry right now, here and now. And this is also a great way to track your own success. So one of the goals for any marketing team these days is to get your own domain to most cited sources. This is the dream come true scenario where, for your industry in general, your own website is the most authority source. And and to achieve this, it's great to track trends and changes within sources, and to see which articles, which specific articles are getting higher or lower. So it's, again, similar to the typical SEO, where we track all our content, and we track whether this specific article got into top 10 or this article is outside top 20 or something like that. So again, differences between LLMs are huge. So whether your goal is to boost your visibility within ChatGPT, you will use different sources than if your goal is to boost your visibility within Perplexity. So it's great to analyze those in separate. And with sponsored stories, with your own website created in a structured way, in a way that will be preferred by LLM models, because analyzing those top cited sources, you will also learn what is the preference for ChatGPT. How how constructed are websites or blog posts that are picked up by ChatGPT? What's the preference for Claude, or what are the preferences of DeepSeek? Once you learn that, you can use that to create your own content that will likely get into key sources, or you can get sponsored stories. You can boost your PR activity to get there as well. And so yeah, SEO is alive and well, and it affects results in a big way. So I've mentioned that even ChatGPT is using Google to pick up some additional results. So high rankings within Google, they still make it much more likely that you'll have high visibility within AI models. It's not 100% overlap, but it's still huge. So it's not like you can abandon traditional SEO. GEO is a great addition on top of the existing efforts. So another tip that I can recommend is AI loves structure. So there's this great analysis from Search Engine Land released last month, where they pretty much analyzed what are the commonalities between most cited sources by LLMs. So they looked through most cited sources. So again, the sources that are used the most by LLMs, and they found some similarities, some preferences for specific models. So typically structure, all the bullet points, headliners, subheadliners, those are vital points. But there's also something more. Apparently, instead of creating 5 smaller articles dedicated to each niche prompt, it's probably better to make one complete bigger article that will affect the entire cluster of prompts. So all the little variations. And specifically, a couple of days ago, there was a potential leak of the algorithm from OpenAI. How do they value specific cited sources? This was by Vincent Terrassi. Kudos to Vincent for sharing this information. And it's pretty cool because we can see that ChatGPT, apart from using trusted sources, they also analyze number of clicks for specific sources. So they will pretty much boost the visibility of links that are highly clickable within ChatGPT. So if your links are highly clickable because you have a great title or great this meta section, it will make your content much more likely to appear, or your URL will be much more cited by ChatGPT. So it's interesting, and there's more answers here. Apparently, AI models are in love with answer capsules, which is a fancy way of saying Q&A sections, where we have a question and short, up to 140 characters answer. They absolutely love this type of content. We saw that, or Search Engine Land analysis saw that over 30% of all the most cited sources had a form of this answer capsule. So this is top shared feature of pages cited by ChatGPT. Moreover, capsules with no links perform the best, so strictly content, and obviously original or proprietary data, so all the numbers, all the stats, all the data information that LLMs haven't found anywhere else, and they can tag you as a original source of this statistic or this quote or this prediction. That's the way to get inside the most citation sources. And you can see that Capsule had by far the biggest share across most cited sources here. And there's more tips like that tips for content creations like that I compiled here. We don't have too much time today, so I've created a file with content structure tips based on this leak. So how you can use this leak to create content in a way that will be preferred by ChatGPT. It's available here also with this webinar, so you can download this and maybe use this afterwards. So here's a QR code and bit.ly link that you can use. So new AI releases also are the moments similar to Google updates where we wait for magic to happen, for our positions to be boosted, or for our positions to unfortunately be decreased. You can see here that ING Bank introduced some of the good tactics for GEO over last few months, and with the release of Gemini Flash 2.5, they've came into power. They've all these best practices started to affect the results, and you can see the huge boost here. So again, it's very dynamic. Sometimes we have to wait for a new release for AI model. Again, those two categories of information or sources that we use to affect our visibility with AI models. So another good tactic is to get more mentions. That's pretty obvious. You saw how mentions are affecting results, but you see you've learned already how to find sources that are most likely to affect your brand exposure within AI models the most. So getting more mentions from CNET for Disney, from other sites that are top cited for your industry makes a lot of sense. But there's also a cool way to also learn what sources are needed to boost your exposure. You can, for example, use these AI visibility tools to find leaders within your space, so companies that are very well positioned within AI models, and then you can use tools for social listening or for brand monitoring to find if they are active on Reddit, or if they are active on LinkedIn, or if they have a lot of videos. So pretty much you can see behind the scenes for their marketing efforts, and you can see how they are doing this, that they have a lot of mentions for Reddit, or what type of actions are resulting in them being a leader within your space. So that's also how you can use. You can, for example, browse all the Reddit posts. You can see how many times the leader within your space engages conversations on Reddit, how many times they are getting conversations on YouTube. So it's immensely powerful to maybe break down the conversations and see which mentions are affecting AI results the most, and what is the structure of mentions that's needed to become a leader within your space. You can browse sources. You can see how many mentions were collected across all those sources. So another great tip, and probably one of the last before we jump into questions, Q&A section. So updating brand content can go a long way. Specifically Wikipedia. You saw that Wikipedia is one of the most cited sources, one of the most trusted sources. So we saw a huge boost in our exposure when we've implemented a Wikipedia page, both in English and Polish, for our company. So it's a great way to boost your AI visibility. This is I cannot stress this enough, how influential Wikipedia is across AI models, both ChatGPT, Gemini, and others. Another tool that I can recommend specifically for restaurants, for hotels, so companies that have a lot of profiles, a lot of social media profiles, a lot of profiles for on TripAdvisor and maybe Google reviews, stuff like this. Yext helps you to manage visibility across multiple entities, multiple websites, multiple platforms. Again, specifically for companies that have multiple locations. That's super useful, and they are they specifically make it in a way that's easy to consume for AI models. So and reviews related to your company are one of the most cherished sources of data for AI models. So, a conclusion: we are witnessing biggest revolution, the biggest marketing shift we saw within the last probably 20 years. A lot of risks, just like I mentioned with Google organic results, a lot of opportunities, like with the booming traffic from AI models. So I hope the tips I've shared will be useful for you guys. Again, this is all the best practices that we've used, and this is the best practices that we would share with the best friend if we had any friends. But yeah, I'll be happy to answer any question now. I'll start with chat, and I'll be sharing a Typeform link for you guys to pick your certificates because this is a certified webinar. You guys are officially trained in AI visibility. So yeah, hope that's, let me share this. Typeform should be working. You'll be also receiving this Typeform through your email. So that will be available as well. Oh, I can see that 700 people still managed to get to this stage. So really appreciate it. So I'm all for questions. Any questions? All right. Yeah, I mean, the question from Oliver isn't creating a website for your page on Wikipedia is hard. It is. We went through a number of contributors over last years, and most of them were unsuccessful with creating page. There's this golden balance between having a site, a page that will be based on quality sources, where nobody will be able to find some sort of a marketing exposure. So it wouldn't look like your advertisement on Wikipedia. It has to include all your fuck ups, all your problems, and if you create it in the way based on valuable sources, it's certainly doable. So it's tricky. You have to. There's also a lot of companies that are scams that are promising to get you on Wikipedia. They will take your initial fee and they will disappear. So yeah, it's tricky, but it's doable, specifically if you don't hide your fuck ups and don't do a huge promotion about your company, so it looks like authentical. Thanks for kind words. Let me look for another questions. All right. Let me. Any tips for professional services B2B companies? We don't have a huge content marketing team, so the activities might have the biggest impact. I would start with opening yourself up to ChatGPT, just like I mentioned during the webinar. If you don't have a huge budget, I would probably try to devote some of the existing resources towards boosting conversations on sources that you find useful. Big companies can afford to go wide with their marketing efforts. They can afford to go Quora, Reddit, LinkedIn, and whatnot. If you have a less budget, you have to be surgical with your marketing action. So I would recommend you find sources. You don't have to pay for the AI visibility tools. You can probably find those crucial sources by just having conversations related to your business with ChatGPT and asking it for sources. It will not be as complete. It will not be. You will not be able to access trends and so on. But you'll be able to cheaply or freely access sources that are crucial to your industry, and I would focus on those sources. If there's like maybe there's some message board, maybe there's some niche message board that's vital to your business, and that's vital to ChatGPT for to your niche. So and then you can focus on that, and that doesn't need a huge budget. So hopefully that helps. All right, and another advice for holders: how to get through booking hurdles. I mean, that's just typical marketing, even outside LLM SEO. There's number of ways, a number of tutorials on how to boost your number of reviews on booking or hotels. And the best option is to ask your clients, is to highlight the option. Whenever I'm visiting hotels or some restaurants that are really pushing for this, a waiter or the owner is asking personally a couple of times sometimes to leave the Google review if they really need those Google reviews. So there's nothing beating a humble, genuine plea for reviews that will result with that. We have hundreds of reviews for Brand24 across multiple platforms, and all the reviews that we got through asking nicely. We can offer some bonuses like a Starbucks coupon or something like that, but the shady tactics of buying some shady traffic from God knows where that will leave organic reviews for your product, that doesn't really work for me. And it's a short way, specifically in the AI age, where AI is smart enough to pick up some patterns and to just realize whether your content was organic or was created by bots. I wouldn't go that way. So yeah, hope this helps. How will you make MCP available to ChatGPT in a way that guarantees it's really you and not someone impersonating you or running a scam? It's a two-way integration. So it's very similar to how products integrate with services these days. It's like Google Connect integration for your sign-up. It's like Meta Connect integration for your sign-up, or any other big integration with Slack or somebody else. MCP is a fancy name for just integrating your product with ChatGPT, but still your user will have to authorize the MCP server. They will have to authorize Brand24 and ChatGPT to pick up Brand24 data or any other data. So I think that this impersonating is not an issue anymore. And major companies like SEMrush, like Canva, like Ahrefs, they are already investing heavy into MCP. It's not getting them tons of clients yet, but it's opening yourself up to to the future, in which, again, most of the users will expect to access all the data within the AI models. Sorry. So another question: how can you value the ability as an employee to position, positioning within LLMs? So I understand this as a question on how do you charge for LLM SEO? Companies, as a consultant, as an agency. And I would say that it will be likely similar to traditional SEO. Maybe it will. So even though it's way less traffic right now for most companies, it's 10 times less traffic than Google. I don't think it should be 10 times less expensive than SEO actions because it's a huge investment. Everyone can see that AI search will surpass traditional search within a couple of years. And the companies who will stay with just traditional search because they are unwilling to invest, they will lose a lot. And so, I've never seen products booming. I've never seen service, and I've been doing this for 20 years. I've been doing social listening. I've been doing marketing. This is not my first company. This is not even my fifth company, and I've never seen, uh, a, you know, a topic that would be as hot as AI visibility these days, because brands really understand that we are on the verge of a major shift in how consumers find products. And if they will use that, all their goals, all their milestones will be checked, will be met. But if they sleep over this huge revolution, uh, they are risking being obscure, being invisible to customers in future. So I don't think you should charge a lot. You should charge as much as for your SEO efforts, because it's the best investment that marketing team, marketing division within any company can make these days, in my humble opinion. Thanks for kind words. Any company can be visible on Wikipedia. I don't think that any company can be visible on Wikipedia. There has to be some threshold for how big your company is. Even with our company, which is only around 100 people, we are publicly traded company, and so on. We are part of the huge Semrush group now, or potentially in the nearby future part of the Adobe. It was still tricky to get there. So it's probably not for everyone, but it's easier to get to local Wikipedia. It's easier to get, if you're a Polish company, if you are a company from Netherlands or Brazil, it's easier to get to Brazilian Wikipedia than to global English Wikipedia. All right. How social media impacts GEO? A great question. And based on our analysis, it depends whether you attribute YouTube as a social. I believe, sorry, YouTube is a social in a big way, and YouTube is affecting most of AI models. But typical social, I would say, LinkedIn affects ChatGPT in a big way, probably because LinkedIn and OpenAI has a similar ownership, which is obviously Microsoft. Obviously, Grok is influenced a lot by X results. So depending on the specific model that you have in mind, social will be affecting results within those models. Any company website can create LLMS file for its own purpose. Sure, yeah, it's just like robots.txt file that you can set up within 5 minutes. I've shared the link to our LLMs.txt file. You can use this as a benchmark for your product, for your website. Another question. When will we have a kebab? Not sure about that. I'll be running back home, so I'll likely pick up a few kebabs on my way home to my lovely kids and family and wife. Can gambling companies can get into LLMs? That's a good question. I'm not sure if LLMs have some sort of prohibition from gambling website or precautions, but I don't think so. I think it's very similar to how you get with non-gambling company. Not that I support gambling in any way. All right. You will be able to access this webinar as a video. We'll make sure it will be available via email after the webinar. Another question: if there's one thing to start, what would be it? the most important first step. Start creating content. Start, collect all the necessary information about your company. It might be within a PDF file. It might be within, text file, whatever, doc. Combine all the information about your company and feed it to ChatGPT or other models. That's the quickest and most, comfortable and sure way to provide ChatGPT with data about your company. Creating your own website would be another way. But there's number of huge brands that don't have websites but have a specific social media presence, like profiles on YouTube or social sites or LinkedIn. LinkedIn is very cheap to create and very easy to create, and it's super cheap to run a LinkedIn profile. Not a great to run a great LinkedIn profile. You do have to spend a lot, but yeah, LinkedIn. I would be setting up LinkedIn page as it's. I wouldn't go too wide. So again, I would start with the research. I would start with finding which sources are vital. Maybe LinkedIn is not really important for your industry. Maybe Reddit doesn't really matter for your industry. Maybe even YouTube doesn't really matter for your industry. Maybe there's this obscure tech website or a message board devoted to cat lovers, if you have a cat product, and that or some groups, online groups that are devoted to cats, tricks or whatever, that will be crucial source for LLMs in terms of products for cats, for example. So again, I would do the research. If I had, as I mentioned before, if I had very little budget, I would be very surgical with my actions. I wouldn't go wide with YouTube's, Reddit's, Quora's. I would be very surgical with finding sources that have the biggest chance to affect LLMs, because those are most cited sources. All right. I think I've answered some of those questions already. Query fan out question. We can see that query fanouts is important. There's a lot of conversation recently about this on the web, and you can see that that oftentimes ChatGPT is actually using Google to collect more results. And this is again why SEO is so vital, because it's a cornerstone of GEO, if you will, if that makes sense. Can you tool suggest all the actions you mentioned today in an accessible form? Sure. I just shared QR code. I hope it was accessible, so you guys can pretty much see all the slides, all the tools that I mentioned. There's also this best practices for content creation based on this OpenAI leak. So hopefully you can find this valuable. Any offers on Black Friday or Cyber Monday for Chatbeat? I don't think so. This is, people are going crazy for Chatbeat. We've started this as a side project within Brand24. Right now, we have a number of people at Brand24 working specifically on Chatbeat because it's booming. It's growing faster than Brand24 was growing at the beginning. So unfortunately, I don't think we have to do that. We have to do Black Friday, but if you attended this webinar, that already makes you elite user for Chatbeat. So just you can mention the webinar when conversing to Chatbeat help desk and our team at Chatbeat, and I'm sure that they will find some extra deal for you guys. What specific metric should I monitor in case of very fun brand or website visibility? Great question. So we recommend several metrics. Main metric that we recommend is a brand score, which we've introduced, and it takes value from 0 to 100%. 100% is a brand that's number one for any prompt that's related to their industry, which never happened. Very, very popular brands like Netflix, Disney Plus, Tesla, SpaceX, they have 80-90% brand score. Brand score grows exponentially. So it's sorry. So it's much harder to get to from 30 to 35 than from 20 to 25 brand score. And it's a great way to track your visibility over time. Another great way would be to track average position or median position over time. That's also a great way to track your position for specific prompts or in general across multiple prompts that you can track. I hope that helps. What would you recommend using LLM aggregates like Merlin AI instead of sticking to singular pro license for ChatGPT? Great question. I've never thought about this, but I'm not sure. It depends whether Merlin AI has this option that your conversations with ChatGPT through Merlin AI are used to train new OpenAI models. If it does, then it's the same thing essentially. But if it's not, then if you don't have a control over that, then maybe it's a better idea to directly use Gemini or ChatGPT. All right. What about measuring? What about measuring traffic source from ChatGPT? I've noticed a lot of links from LLMs, UTM. Yeah, you can track some of the traffic within Google Analytics, but again, it's only fraction of what's really happening, because less than 10% of recommendations for an average company within AI models, within answers in AI models, contain links, contain sources. So only fraction of people who learn about your company through AI models can click on your domain or any source that will link to your website. So most of them are 0 clicks. That's why it's so hard to track, and that's why you have to use, or we recommend you use, tools that track AI visibility. Tools again like Chatbeat, Profound, again Ahrefs, SEMrush, SEO Surfers also have modules for that. How can I use Chatbeat for promoting our services instead of brand? So again, you can use Chatbeat to find sources that are crucial to your industry, and then you can use those sources to get into, to boost your exposure within AI models, to get more traffic from ChatGPT, to get more recommendations, to maybe not get number one, but it happened, as you saw with, for example, ING Bank. But it can happen, even a boost from top 20 to top 10 can mean a lot in terms of the recommendations and the actual traffic that you're getting. All right, thanks for kind words. Another question. What about creating Perplexity pages or Claude artifacts and indexing them? Another great question. I don't have too much experience in Perplexity pages. I'll be super honest. I don't want to pitch here if I don't have any meaningful expertise. So far, ChatGPT and Gemini was our biggest focus because Gemini and ChatGPT are probably 90% of the market. For some industries, Perplexity is huge. For marketing teams, it is meaningful. But again, you saw that ChatGPT is a 10th of Google traffic for us, and Perplexity is a 10th of ChatGPT's traffic. So it's we are yet to learn more about this Perplexity pages. So sorry, that's not my expertise, unfortunately. Would buying a Reddit account really be worth it? Well, it depends on the price, but if you can get account that was highly active within your niche on Reddit, that has a lot of karma, that you can use in a reasonable way. Again, there are some of the webinars out there that are recommending you do some black hat geo, if there's a black hat geo, but do some spam tactics, spam Reddit. I'm highly against this. That's the straight way to get, less visibility across LLMs and get banned on Reddit. So if I were to buy, account on Reddit with high karma within a specific industry, I would still use it to solve people's problems. That's the best tactic, I would say, when doing community marketing in general, whether it's Reddit or Quora or LinkedIn or Facebook groups. You don't want to be that guy or the girl that does these shitty answers that are like, somebody is asking about their problem, their issue, and you are not really solving their issue, but highly, pushing your product, pushing to sign up for your new, amazing, innovative product. I don't think that works anymore. I think that the only way the community marketing works is to genuinely, honestly, try to solve people's problems. Just like I really wanted to give you guys as best advice during this webinar as I can, because I hope that if you find some of the tips that I've shared useful, my credibility will boost. And if you ever, look for a product like I offer at any point, it's probably more likely that you'll maybe give a shot, at least, my product. So I would recommend, if you go for Reddit, I would recommend you honestly try to solve problems that people have, and this way, over time, you will become a guru within this niche. You'll become a guru within this community. People will know that when I have some issues with my cat products or with my sound production plugins, I know that this guy really knows his shit, and he's there to help, and he really wants to help. So when he launches his new music production plugin product, I'm very likely to give it a shot, because he built a credibility. So yeah, and again, buying Reddit account can help you to skip some steps, because what's tricky with Reddit is, even if you provide a lot of value, at some point you can still get blocked, or I did that number of ways. I did number of posts where I didn't mention my company in any way, and my message was still blocked because of some sort of flares, filters, and very specific guidelines for specific subreddits. So again, karma account can go a long way. Any template for LLMs.txt? Yeah, I just shared it. You can just type brand24.com/LLMs.txt. You can find it there. Again, a lot of critics, a lot of pros for LLMs.txt file. How should we handle bots? What if AI crawlers consume too much traffic? Should we still allow them? I believe so. So does Google crawlers to some extent. But the value it potentially brings, it's for some companies, it's much greater. Not for all companies. There are companies who just want to be left alone. They don't want to get exposure with AI models. They have their own business that's making stickers for water bottles, and their business is outside the web, and they're good with what they have. So yeah, then you can use robots.txt to block all the crawlers. But I don't think that the company most companies these days, for most companies, there's more benefits than cons. Can you share the Google Drive you showed? I did. The links, the QR code that was there was to my Google Drive. So both files are out there. Interested in Chatbeat, and would you like to know possible to test? Yeah, it's free to test. You can test it at any point. All right. Sorry, another question for MCP. Can tool traffic and used keywords from MCP servers in ChatGPT? Can your tool track traffic and used keywords? Yeah, it can track traffic by some additional metrics. We also try to estimate search volume for specific keywords or key prompts within AI models. So we try to estimate how many people on monthly basis are asking for best cat food in Poland or best cat food in Netherlands or something like that within AI models. So yeah, we do offer this type of information. It's based on estimations because OpenAI is yet to share the concrete data for this. So we do try to estimate this based on actions for users within Google, within other tools, and maybe then translate it somehow to ChatGPT. But it's the next best thing in a way. What consider when creating a new website for a new company in advertising sector? Again, make it open to OpenAI. Create profiles for find sources that are crucial to your niche, and surgically tap these sources. Is creating a separate landing page for event registration good for GEO? Should each new page also include brand information? It can, yeah. The webinar pages are typically shared a lot, specifically for big webinars. So it does make a lot of sense. Moreover, companies these days are also adding additional information about the company to the meta section. So it's not, sometimes it's not visible to an average user when they visit, let's say, webinar's website, but in the meta section, there's all this information about the product, about the company, specifically designed to be picked by AI models. So hope that helps. What's your methodology for tracking brand mentions, considering its non-deterministic nature of, isn't it like after asking the same question about your industry niche, sooner or later will pop up in the answer? Yeah, it's another great question. We've been tracking mentions for 15 years with Brand24 because it's a product designed specifically to track public conversations related to your business, to any brand out there. And we try to collect, mentions from all types of public sources, whether it's LinkedIn, Reddit, whatever. And historically, like 6 months ago, it was very simple metric. More mentions you get, the bigger exposure you are likely to get within AI models. But it's getting more tricky and it's getting more sophisticated because we now know that mentions are not created equal, and mentions from specific sources are worth more within specific models, within specific niches. So I believe that the best way, and I'm obviously biased for being founder for both tools, but you can use our competitors. You can use competitors for Brand24. You can use competitors for Chatbeat. There's a number of tools out there. Honestly, there are some great tools out there. But in my opinion, it's the best to combine those two with, finding sources that are crucial to your business, to your niche, and then maybe using tools like social listening tools like Brand24 to boost your number of mentions within this industry. Because, for example, let's say a super vital source for information about your, super vital source for ChatGPT for your industry is Indonesian message board called Kaskus.id. There's a huge message board in Indonesia. It's called Kaskus.id. And let's say that this is a top source for ChatGPT for your industry. So then you can use tools like Brand24 to track all the conversations that are related to your business on Kaskus.id and join those conversations whenever a new conversation pops up. This way, you are not starting new conversations. You are joining existing conversations, again, trying to solve problem to provide as much value as possible. So hopefully that helps. How do I audit my company presence on LLMs and decide what is the priority? Yeah, you can use a trial version, free version of any AI visibility product out there. It will be it will provide you with a quick snapshot of how well your company or how poorly your company is doing, and this can be a big help to to find next steps. You can first and foremost you can see which companies in your space are doing best. What are the leaders in AI visibility in your space, and then you can mimic. You can find what is they're doing that they are doing that they are getting such a great visibility. So that's what I would do if I would be starting a new product, if I would be starting a new company. All right. Have you noticed any correlation between companies sharing publicly customer support, CNET, NPS, and how LLMs portrayed it? Yeah, totally. Just like I mentioned, the original proprietary data that we share is a gold for LLMs. So whenever we create content where we are not citing some other entities, we are not citing I don't know, SimilarWeb, SEMrush, Ahrefs for some stats, but we are providing our own analysis based on our own analysis, based on our own research. We are adding something to the market, to the conversation. That's the content that LLMs prefer, because they constantly look for new information. If they find your blog post and it's a great, well-structured blog post, but it adds nothing new to the conversation, it's just a rehashed content from other blog posts, analysis from SimilarWeb, another analysis from Search Engine Land, then it's less likely to be promoted within citations than the content that does something extra, provides some new quotes, some new tactics, some new stats, some analysis that wasn't public before. So yeah, that's what I would do. All right. Okay, let's say 3 more questions, and I'm off. I'm yet to eat anything today. Do you think that developing AI agents based on expert knowledge for sales purposes is promising future? Certainly, yeah. AI agents is certainly the future. The future of the web will be agentic. We'll be sending AI agents to do our bidding for most of the tasks. So obviously, the question is how defendable is business like this, because OpenAI and Claude and Google are bound to offer their own AI agents, even probably devoted to sales. But Google going into specific markets should never be a reason for you guys to not to create a tool, not to start a new business. Any advice on what language to use for creating new content to boost visibility? Do models promote? A great question, another great question, and again, question that will be answered by sources. Again, you don't have to use AI visibility tools to find sources. Just, if your target consumers are cat owners from Poland, because you have a Polish shop for cat owners, then just ask typical questions or most likely questions, or even ask ChatGPT what might be most likely questions that cat owners from Poland ask ChatGPT. And it's very good in a way to suggest you what are the most popular questions, then ask them, see what are the responses, what products are recommended, what's tools are recommended, what platforms, shops, and what are the sources that are used to provide the answers. If sources are local, then go for local. If sources are global, English, then again go for global. So that's what I would do. Hopefully that's helpful. If you're a global company, I would recommend English because it's by far the best. All right. I'm happy you find my jokes on Google Drive hopefully tasteful to some extent. Hope I'm not getting sued for the naked photos of SEO industry leaders shared on the Google Drive. All right, the last question: does LLMs really like sponsored content on the news websites? Surprisingly, yes. If it's well structured, if it's created in a way that LLMs like. So again, it still has to be good. If it's a shitty content that doesn't add anything to industry, it's not well structured, it doesn't share some new cool numbers, some cool quotes, it's just a puff piece for some company that's done in a shitty way, then it's unlikely that it will affect, that sponsored story like this will affect your AI visibility. But if it's a smart sponsored content that's still trying to be authoritative, that to be genuine in the need to solve someone's problem, because we assume that people who will find this sponsored story are still people with some problem. Their problem might be how to get a cat food for cat with peanut allergy, or those might be people who are looking for a best social listening tool, but they still do have problem. And if I were to create sponsor article, I wouldn't create an article that says Brand24 is the best product out there, it's amazing, it solves all your problems, it's the best thing ever, because nobody believes in reviews like this anymore. So I would be generally trying to solve this problem for a person. I would be trying to recommend several products, maybe products that my product looks good next to, but still products that are most likely to come up when looking for trying to solve specific problem. I would say that I'm obviously biased, or I would say that our tool has some prompts. It does have some cons as well. So I would be genuine, just as I am genuine, just like I would be recommending tool to a friend. I wouldn't recommend my tool to all my friends because I know that needs differ across some of the users. So it's great if some of our users prefer Brand24 competitor. No problems here. We're not trying to be best for everyone. We're trying to be best for some of the users, right? So that's how I would come. What would be my approach to sponsored story? All right, I'm super shocked that over 300 people stayed so late for the Q&A section. Again, I'm all yours. If you have any questions, I'm sorry I couldn't answer all the questions here. There was just too many, and I'm too hungry for kebab. So thank you so much for today. You'll be hearing from us soon in terms of the certificates, in terms of all the materials from the webinar, some extra stuff as well. And again, any questions whatsoever, I'm all yours. I'll be responding as soon as I can to all your questions related to LLM SEO and other topics if I can help in any way. Okay, cool. Hope you liked it. Thank you so much and have a great day.